Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of monsters and super agent of stop motion, which we get both of today. And it's kind of a dinosaur movie, sort of, barely. But I'd say it does count. Today we're going to be talking about the wonderful Giant Behemoth, or as it's known in the UK, Behemoth the Sea Monster. It's a pretty funny movie. This is the title card from the trailer, which is much better than the one you'll see from the frickin' actual movie. Although the UK one is better than the US one. Neither of them are great shakes. You'd think that Giant Behemoth would have a great look. It'd look like that. Be that as it may, the Giant Behemoth was filmed in England, except for the stop motion parts, which were filmed in somewhere there in a Los Angeles studio by what says in Wikipedia that it was stop motion special effects were by Willis O'Brien, but they're really by Pete Peterson. Obi just was there and supervised a lot of stuff. He might have done a shot or two, but Pete Peterson really did most of this and the Black Scorpion, which we'll get to at some point because it's a really pretty darn cool movie. So this was released on March 3rd, 1959 in the US. It runs 80 minutes, and the UK version runs 71. And I actually think that the 71 minutes is probably the better of the two, simply because it's shorter and there's a lot of repetition here and there where running scenes that could have been cut. And 71 would have made it move a lot. Maybe 75 minutes would have been great, but 80 is just a tad long. There's your title screen, and let's listen to a little bit of the trailer here as well. We've got 2-minute trailer. I don't know who David Diamond is. So here's our stars, our main stars. Gene Evans was the U.S. import. We know him. Do we know him from some other stuff? John Turner is John. I don't even know which one he was. They all kind of blur together. But Gene Evans is our main star. He lived 1922 to 1998, passed away at the age of 75. He was in many things. Lots of Westerns, because that was a thing back then. He was uncredited until about... I Was an American Spy, till about 51. It says Thunderbirds, but I don't believe that's the Thunderbirds are Go Thunderbirds. The Sad Sack. I don't know if that's the one with... that's with Jerry Lewis. So he's been in... This looks like it's pretty much his only genre movie. He was in The War Wagon with John Wayne, Support Your Local Sheriff, Support Your Local Gunfighter, 2 different characters because it was 2 different movies. So he was in a lot. Television, lots of Lone Rangers. 3 episodes. Rawhide, which my sainted mother likes because of young Clint Eastwood. I don't see that he was in any... So Sven could show this, as I don't see that he was... I've yet to see that he was in Perry Mason. And you can hear the sting there. He was in Dragnet, Alias Smith and Jones, The Incredible Hulk. He did lots of stuff. Anyway, good actor. This would have been a fun sort of series if they'd have done it. Let's move along here. Here's the... Andre Morel was his English sidekick and done lots of things. Obviously, see if he's done anything in here that I can recognize. Hound of the Baskervilles as Dr. Watson. So there you go. She as an Arabian. Plague of Zombies. So he worked with the Mummy Shroud. Obviously, he worked with Hammer. Oh, he was Lord Elrond in the 1978 Lord of the Rings. How about that? Lee Madison has no other credits. And John Turner was I don't even know which one he was. Captain Nemo in the Underwater City, which I do have and have talked about. Have I? Maybe. Be that as it may, the rest of them are, Lee Madison is the one woman. There's really only two women in this movie, and she disappears quite quick early on. Eugène Lourié is both the screenwriter and the director, or screenplay. See, there's your special effects, Willis O'Brien and Pete Peterson. I'm sure these guys at the top that I don't recognize are probably did the rest of the effects, the cell animation. Score is quite good. I like it a lot. It's very, very effective. 200 feet of living, burning horror. So let's get on. It starts with the obligatory nuclear bomb test. Nuclear. It was nuclear. And then you've got Gene there as, what's his name in this? Steve Carnes. I don't, he's a scientist, so he's obviously an expert in the field of science. And then his buddy is Professor Bickford, who is James Bickford, is Andre Morel. There's Lee Madison is and her father, who's about to die, and that's Henry Vidden, who's holding a catfish. It looks like of some kind, but he's got to tell her to go to the house and fry up the fish, and he'll be back after he visits the pub to brag. But unfortunately, the monster shows up and zaps him. Now, the monster originally was supposed to be a radioactive blob. It's not. They made it a dinosaur. Of course, I think the dinosaur is a better choice. It's just more marketable. The blob, I mean, how many blob movies can you do? There's several, but that's enough. I mean, you got the Blob, Son of Blob, Kaltiki, Creeping Terror, things like that. I mean, that's plenty. They're just not very marketable. The Paleosaurus looks great. She goes to the pub looking for Dad and meets this. I think that's John. Can't tell. Probably. Yeah, I'd say it is. He's in and out of the movie pretty quickly. It's an unusually structured movie with no romance in it at all. These two are definitely look like they have a thing. There they are in the cliffs. Is that the cliffs of Cornwall? I'm forgetting where it is now. Yes, Cornwall. Whoop-hoo! Which you've seen in Jack the Giant Killer, another one of my favorite movies. I do really like this movie a lot. I think it's atmospheric. It's got a creepy monster, and they do a great job on such a low budget. And they filmed it in England. Psychotronic actually said it was the creepiest and most horrific of the giant monster movies that Laurier did. Now, a lot of people will say it's not nearly as good as The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which I thought about reviewing today, but I went with this one simply because I don't think it gets its due. It's a fun movie. It's a good movie, and I enjoyed both Beast and the Behemoth about the same. Oh. And there's her dad, covered in radiation burns. Not very horrific, but enough to say, ew. And dumbass there, John, sticks his hand in a pool of goo and burns his own hand. He dies. There's their funeral, and they mention the Behemoth in there because they just got to. The movie starts out with a quote about the Behemoth, something, behold the Behemoth. But this Behemoth is not a hippo.
Gentlemen, we are witnessing a biological chain reaction, a geometrical progression of deadly menace.
So, Carnes has to go back to Bickford, and they've decided that they need to look into that and they're going to Cornwall because he was just guest lecturing about the dangers to marine life posed by nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear. Thank you, Homer. Testing. So there they go. There's the doctor. There's John's doctor. His arm's bandaged up. Now, if he's got radiation burns, I hope they're treating it properly because he's going to lose that arm. Just ask Lex Luthor when he wore that kryptonite ring for years to keep Superman away. Gave him kryptonite poisoning. But I don't know that. Is this doctor got a name in here? No, that's the other guy. There's not a big cast, but there's enough here and there. There's his radiation burns, which just look like, rubber cement put on him, really, and colored a bit. And it's effective enough. It looks gross. So he takes him. John takes Carnes over to the where he found it, and they're looking for it with his radiation detecting device. I know that Geiger counter. Could not remember that the other day, but they don't find anything.
Look there. 2 points off the port bow.
We're a little ahead of ourselves here. There's another young lady here. So I think there's 3 women in the movie that have lines, but he's got radioactive fish there that he's holding with his hands, his bare hands. And this is what he finds. And it's in that fish there. So these are effective scenes. Like, uh-oh, something's going on here. And this is where we are. There it is. This is our first sighting of the behemoth, the Paleosaurus. And unfortunately, it is a very stiff model that was supposed to be robot. It was supposed to move a little more than it does. Legend has it that it was broken, and all they could do was raise it and lower it. This is effective enough. You don't really know what it looks like yet, which is good. And they wait a good full. It's a slow start, like Obi's King Kong, which Ray Harryhausen loves. He gets it back. They're saying, we need to see you, the Valkyrie, and they pronounce it in this an English way, Valkyrie or Valkyrie. The ship has been destroyed from the outside. Who knows? It doesn't suggest that the monster is eating people, but you kind of think it is. So now that Carnes has seen it, he's telling everyone there's a monster out there. And, they believe him. For a change, they actually believe him. So this is just stock footage of a warship. And here's the obligatory family who doesn't believe they're in danger, but then get zapped by the monster. Has an electrical charge. Now, how the paleontologist knows this is beyond me, because how would you know a monster had a radioactive charge, or a dinosaur did? But it's a dinosaur, and it zaps. That's the little boy. British films are different. They kill kids. Most American films would not kill a kid. Right. So there's its footprint. So there's your scale. It's 200 feet long, which is like 3 times the size of the bones they found in the Thames, where it goes home to die. Somehow they know that too. And here's our potty paleontologist, Dr. Ross. No, wait, it's not Ross. That is Dr. Sampson, played by Jack McGowan. I'm assuming that's how you say that. He was in lots of stuff. I mean, I can't even go into it. He just worked and worked. He was in Dr. Zhivago. And The Exorcist, final film role. So this movie follows the basic formula of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. So if you've seen that, you know what's going to happen to him, because poor paleontologist. But he tells him what it is, and look at him thinking, oh, how lovely it'll be to see a live dinosaur. Okay, yes, I think that myself. But there's our sketch of the Paleosaurus. Now, the Paleosaurus is a dinosaur-ish. It's a genus of indeterminate archosaur known from 2 teeth found in the Bombsgrove Sandstone Formation, which is in Clifton, Bristol, England, originally Avon. It has a convoluted taxonomic history. So, yeah, it's they mixed prosauropod skeletal remains with carnivorous teeth, which is why they got there. And it kind of looks like this, long neck, but it's pretty much a nomen dubium, which is an unknown monster or unknown dinosaur. Pardon me, they're not really monsters anymore. Paleosaurus plateodon. So they moved that out into a whole nother one. And so as far as we know now, there is no true Paleosaurus. But so it's a good name to use. They had to have known of it back then. But Riley and Stutchberry, 1836. Synonyms: Paleosauriscus in 1959. Eh, it's a good name. Does it say what it actually means? Um, no, I don't see that it says what it actually means. I would think ancient reptile, paleo, right? So our potty professor has, or potty paleontologist has gone out to search it. It finds it because it's glowing in the water, which is a cool effect. I gotta say, little animation there. I remember seeing this as a kid and I was really impressed by it. That's what helps because when you are a young man, a young agent, seeing it, age of 9 or 10, it's like, oh, this is cool. But he's about to get zapped right there, and kaboom! Oh, I timed that really
We
well.
must find a way of destroying this creature in one piece. Judging by the beast's size, I would say it was powerful enough to drive a battleship.
That's the electrical charge. And we're about to see the behemoth attack London. London's burning! And these are all people on this poor boat. And this, once again, here's a little girl, and she probably drowned because there it is. It's sad that the first appearance of the Paleosaurus is this stiff, googly-eyed model. It does not do the stop-motion beast justice. In fact, there it is, tipping it over. And if you look over here to the lower left, you can see that that's its actual the machinery. It's not even part. I mean, it's unfortunate, but a low budget movie, it's going to happen. This is the first time I've actually seen it in the 40 years, 50 years probably that I've been watching this movie. The movie has been released on DVD and Blu-ray here in the States as the Giant Behemoth, the sea monster in the UK. Unfortunately, it has there is a um, commentary track which should be better than it is. And I like both guys that did it, but they do not. All they really do in the movie is talk about how that Ray Harryhausen would not have done the shot that way. And of course he wouldn't because he didn't do it.
Of course, its tremendous electric charge is what projects the radiation. That's what makes the creature so deadly. Have you any concrete suggestions? Yes. First, block off the Thames.
So they're doing that, and while they're doing that, they're telling everyone to get out. So I just like this picture of the Marines or MPs or whatever HMS Her Majesty's services are doing here, but there's bloomers hanging there. It just cracks me up. And there is a nice dessert. So they're trying to get everyone at least off the streets and be safer. They should have gotten them to leave, but as we'll see, they didn't quite. But so there's the approximately 70 feet. I don't know if that's 70 feet tall. It's huge in the movie, as we'll see. But they're trying to figure out how to kill it. And it's about to attack. And there, once again, we get this unfortunate puppet. However, the bobbies are holding everyone back. Instead of there, now we get the stop motion. And we are blessed with only having the stop motion dinosaur. Yeah, Dinosaurroid. Dinosauromorph, whatever you want to call it, through the rest of the movie until there's one more shot of the puppet, sadly. And there it's beginning its attack there. It's just really nice. Look at the mat. There's people here. Obi's obviously learned of Ray's technique of how to make the, sandwich live action and the monster into live action, the dynamation, if you will. So there's lots of these shots. That's just really, Laurié was a great director and did really well. He got, his final one was Gorgo, which we'll eventually get back around to. This is their poor car that gets stomped on 3 times. Whoop, 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 whoop. There's a lovely shot, of the Paleosaurus. They really thought that it had sharp teeth. More people burned by radiation. Oh. The biggest thing since creation. So the trailer's pretty spot on, and it really doesn't give you too much. It's 2 minutes long. It doesn't really give you too much out of the way. So there's what's left of them. Ew, burned the flesh right off of them. Another process shot. Looks great. He dumps over builds this, and these poor extras. They did a great job, though. I'm assuming they're the stuntmen having hopefully that's not brick and mortar being dropped on them. Woo woo woo! More running. See, there was a lot of running. A lot of the Paleosaurus thrashing its head about in the air because it's in pain and dying because it's radioactive. You know, you understand. The Giant Behemoth. It runs into high tension wires, which do nothing to stop it at all. But you kind of feel sorry for it. But here's a great shot. It zaps itself, which I'm sure was unpleasant. But it goes on, and there's London is Burning. No, I'm not saying the Clash took their title from that because it was actually burning when they wrote it, that song. But I wish I'd have queued that up. Stop motion spotlights on the monster as it goes through the models. I mean, they did a great job with the budget they had. This movie should not look this good. And the actors they take it seriously. Nobody's mugging or doing anything. These morons decide they're going to either steal a car or try to save their car, which, does not work out for them. They get thrown into the water. Finally, they got an isotope that they're going to shoot into the monster. An isotope, which is a radium. It's radium they're shooting in there so that it'll kill it faster, accelerate the radiation sickness because the poor thing is dying. That's a mercy. Usually I'm against killing monsters, but if it's in pain and, it's dying, put it out of its misery. Show it some mercy. There it is, a nice underwater shot of it swimming. Now, I believe there's a shot like this in Godzilla vs. Biollante of Godzilla swimming. It's been years since I watched that mess of a movie. Good movie, but it's a mess of a movie. Too many characters. But I think there's one of Godzilla swimming in the water that's stop motion because I've seen the stop motion footage of Godzilla fighting Biollante, which is impressive, but looks weird it looks weird for Godzilla to be stop motion animated. I guess I don't know. It's hard for my little brain to process. Oh, and now it's shooting out its electrical charge. But I got rid of that picture. It also bats the submarine around, and there it's going. I mean, it's ready. We're getting to the end of the movie here. There's the torpedo with the radium. Kaboom! Sadly, the last shot of the Paleosaurus is this awful hand puppet or remote controlled puppet. Whatever it was, it's awful. It dies. Our heroes get into their car and hear the radio report saying the dead fish are washing up on the eastern shores of the United States. Do you remember when we reviewed the flesh eaters that the Dr. Peter Petrovskov, or whatever his German name was, said that he'd tracked them washing up on the shores of the eastern shore. Maybe maybe it's not another Paleosaurus, but the flesh eaters in 4 years. We just never know. But that's it. That's the end. Or is it? As a bonus here, I did watch the beginning of Behemoth the Sea Monster, the UK version, and here's some of the credits. It's produced by Arrows Films Presents. They're a little different. Obviously, the title's different. See, it's got a better font. Same too, but Lee is not in this one. She's in the next card. And it's directed by Douglas Hickox and Eugène Lourié. So go figure that they gave him double credit there. And there's our poster. And we are done. So I forgot to ask you to please like, share, subscribe. We're up to 350 now subscribers. Let's get to 500 here. Let's make a milestone. Leave a comment. It's always fun. Comments always help the algorithm, and watching a couple more minutes than you usually do is always great. I'm always grateful for. I do always try to reply to the comments, no matter what they are, because I always take it as constructive criticism. So thank you. And, hit the subscription bell on YouTube. You can also view this on Spotify and any place else you get your podcasts. But until our next assignment, agents, be careful of dead fish washing up on the shore. They could be radioactive. So this is X7 signing off.
Gentlemen, we are witnessing a biological chain reaction, a geometrical progression of deadly menace.
Look there. 2 points off the port bow.
We must find a way of destroying this creature in one piece. Judging by the beast's size, I would say it was powerful enough to drive a battleship.
Of course, its tremendous electric charge is what projects the radiation. That's what makes a creature so deadly.
Well, have you any concrete suggestions?
Yes. First, block off the Thames.